All right, welcome everyone. This is our first episode of the World Skate and World Skates Academy Fundamentals of Skateboard Judging webinar. This webinar is intended for all of you aspiring skateboard judges to provide you the information for your education process and preparation for the international certification program. And today, we're gonna lay down a lot of information and explain the structure of the WorldScape programs. And together with me, I have my dear friend and my colleague, Luca Basilico from WorldSkate. Hello, Luca.
Ciao Martin, hello.
Luca, can you maybe introduce yourself and explain our line of work?
All right, so I'm working in the position of skateboarding director here at WorldSkate, and with Martin, we are actually putting together this whole judging certification and education system that is going to provide the backbone to the system of international events leading up to the Olympic Games in the future. And yeah, we already did a lot of work on the way up to Tokyo and check that box. Now it's the time to put the structure in place and moving ahead with something that we're going to explain you in the next hour or something.
All right, great. So for all of you guys, we are opening the doors for new judges. We want the world to be part of skateboarding, and we want people from all around the world to take the position and have a chance. So let's start with the first slide of our presentation. Let's kick it. For the beginning, this is the program of our first episode. We got a lot of information, a lot of explaining to do, and I hope it will provide more understanding and the perspective of the programs and how they are connected and important for all of you guys who are willing to become judges and hopefully take part in a global and potentially Olympic judging panels of the future. First thing, Luca, the new era of skateboarding. So we are basically almost 4 years after the official announcement of skateboarding being part of the Olympic family. Skateboarding has a long history, but a lot of new things appeared and happened since that announcement. So let's talk a little bit more about this one. So what do you think it's new? What changed?
So Martin, I think that the changes within skateboarding didn't really happen suddenly with the Olympic Games in the last 4 years. The process that's culminated for sure with the inclusion of skateboarding into the games started at a minimum 20 some years ago, with the sports becoming hugely popular in North America. And from the TV events and everything involved with that, the process that took us to the games finally last year. It's really simple to just explain it in this way, in my opinion. It turned from just being mainly a subculture that had a sport aspect of it into a subculture that it's still there, but being a sport recognized as a sport by the masses and by the IOC in the first place, and everyone that is involved with organized sport in general. So this happened, and this imposed some evolution to how we intend the sport of skateboarding. And of course, for sure, this added, something to the competition that wasn't there before, and other dimensions. So the whole concept of taking skateboarding into arenas is already one thing. So all of us that started skating like 30, 40 years ago had this image in mind of skateboard events being run in parking lots.
And that they were run in parking lots.
They were there, and to some extent they still are, but we added something more. We added an extra space for skaters to thrive through big events in sports arena with big audiences, with a lot of interest on the mediatic side of things, and a lot of interest also from the political side of
And
things.
that's
And of
that's the
course,
new that's the new thing for me, because in many countries, skateboarding was not so common or even unknown before the Olympic announcement, and all of a sudden, all these nations are taking it seriously and more or less providing opportunities to skaters, and in some cases open the communication towards skaters and skateboarding communities, and that's a great thing. And like you mentioned, the arenas and the broadcast and the TV and media attention in general, in a way, helped a lot of things in skateboarding. Don't you think?
100%, 100%. Let's make a point here. So skateboarding is a global sport, but the organization of skateboarding wasn't global. Being the organization of skateboarding based on the skateboarding industry, and the industry being mainly, let's say, existing in really specific areas of the world, that imposed that was were the places where skateboarding developed the most. And then, of course, we had skaters skating all over the world, but the chances and opportunities always belonged to specific markets. And that is what is now changing. Because with the induction of skateboarding into the Olympic Games and the interest that the sports gained in the eyes of the National Olympic Committees, it's changing how skateboarding is organized and how the opportunities are spread around the globe.
I think this is the beautiful part about the new era, as we call it in our presentation, because we've seen people from countries that we have never seen before taking part at these events and coming, and also having the opportunity to skate with their idols. And this was not possible before. And this is something great, in my opinion, that after these guys come and skate at the qualification or other sanctioned events, they come home and they share the story and they inspire others with their experiences, and they have the support to come. And this was not possible before, because in many of those places, like you said, Luca, there is no industry, there is no market, and therefore the opportunities for these guys to travel abroad or take part in something international or global were really, really limited. And I think many people should see this as one of the biggest benefits of the Olympic kind of era for skateboarding, because it opens doors to everyone and provides the opportunities for skateboarders to thrive, travel, and participate on a global scale without any restrictions and with the needed support.
I mean, and that of course comes with, I mean, as the sport grows, the participation grows, the interest grows. Of course, structure is needed and rules are needed. And this is also the reason why we never heard that much, or never heard at all, talking about anti-doping or sport betting or all those sorts of things that generally are applied to organized sport before, and are becoming a thing now for skateboarding, not because there's a specific, let's say, naughty nature in organized sports, but as sports are growing, if participation is growing and interests are growing, you need to take care of the business, let's say, and defend the sport against forces that can ruin it for
Yeah,
everyone. And
I'm.
of course, doping and betting are not good things for sport.
Well, it opens the popularity of skateboarding, open the doors to other spheres of human societies and existence. And naturally, when something is popular or big, people want a piece of it, or they want to in. And like you said, the requirements to kind of guarantee and safeguard sport of skateboarding must be put in place. And therefore, there are the anti-doping regulations. And big interest on controlling, influencing of the sport, sports betting, and when it comes to judging and educational process for our judges, the conflicts of interest and the code of conduct were put in place because of that.
Yeah, there's a lot of attention put on judging throughout all the sports, in especially the judge sports like ours, onto match fixing,
Of
which is
course,
of course need to be considered, and that comes brings us to the whole concept of the conflict of interest and having trained and educated judges so that they don't take false steps.
exactly. We are taking, like you said, we open to the world, nations are involved, and the responsibilities become more serious. And the point and the aim or the goal of this educational program of webinar and our episodes is to educate and explain these things and put them in the context with examples so people understand the potential risks and they prevent them from happening because it is influencing a lot of things and a lot of people involved in today's competitive skateboarding around the world. Now, let's move to the next slide